Motivation is not automatic, it's built. It's a castle built on pillars that carries you through chaos and resistance. At the end of this video, you will exactly know how to build these pillars and lock in on your goals permanently. Pillar number 1, anti-vision. It's really hard to find role models, but it's really easy to find anti-role models. Maybe it's not clear who you want to be, but sometimes some people are so bad that it makes you clear that you don't want to become like them. Similarly, it's really hard to find what type of life you want, but it's really simple to find out what type of life you absolutely don't want. So if you are lost and you don't know what type of life you want, just create an anti-vision, someone who you absolutely don't want to become, and a life that you never want to live. When we start questioning our life path, this anti-vision really steers us into the right direction. Pillar number 2, purpose. People who don't have any purpose in their life act on their emotions and survival. They follow a script that don't make them happy. They don't do the things that fulfills them. They just do the things to survive. Without purpose, your work becomes machine-like, meaningless. So when people don't have purpose, they look at others and try to mimic their desires. They look at their relatives, friends, or people on the internet to search for a desire that will make them happy. But true purpose is very unique. It doesn't come from others. Purpose is something that only you have to offer to this world. Purpose pushes you even if you fail or even if all hope is lost. Meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give your gift away.
I know what I want. I know what kind of God I need to be.
But if you don't have any unique purpose, your purpose is preparation, something that will come in your future, which will demand you to act. So be absolutely ready. It will ask you of self-mastery. It will ask you of discipline. But if you want a clear path to get closer to your purpose, one way is Ikigai. But Ikigai never helped me. It was very vague, so I created my own system. When I was lost for 2 years and I was trying to find my purpose, I asked myself a series of questions that led me to my purpose. Those series of questions showed me my values, my strengths, my skills, my interest, and also who I want to become. And when I combine all of this information, I found my purpose. You will find those questions in the description. Pillar number 3, death. Death can either freeze you or motivate you. It all depends on your perspective. If you are like anyone on this planet, you probably ignore your death. But no matter what you do, how much you ignore it, death always finds you. And when people start to think about their deaths, they get scared and they start to panic. They start to think, I'm going to die. Anything I do will not matter in the end. They start constantly thinking about their death and forget to live. People who live in fear of their own deaths go their whole lives being afraid of something that doesn't happen to them. They can't seem to comprehend that death is a tiny part and the life is what you actually experience. When you deny your own death, you distance yourself from the things that are important to you. Because when you accept your own death, you realize there are very few things that you can actually do in your lifetime. Neuroscience shows that when you think about your own mortality, you trigger your brain's regions like frontal cortex, which is tied to value-based decision making. Means when you become aware of your death, when you face your death, it becomes very clear what is really important to you and what is worth living and dying for. Death motivates us to do very few things which are important urgently. Death makes everything that you do important because it becomes rare, fleeting. You can never experience it again. So when you realize point of death and importance of life, you actually start to look at your life. If you look at your life like it's a suicide mission, what risks you will take? Will you be afraid of doing anything, trying a business or asking someone out or doing any unimaginable thing? Because until you digest your own mortality, you never actually live. Death is like a gun on your head, constantly reminding you that your days are numbered. Do what's important and don't waste your life.
You know we will meet again, right?
Sí, hasta la muerte.
Pillar number 4, energy. If you want to do anything in life, you need that forward energy. You can't do things on survival mode. When I talk about this energy, I mean mental energy as well as physical energy. Your mental energy is directly proportional to the quality of your thoughts. If you are on your survival mode, you only think about how you can survive now. You don't live life. You are even afraid of dreaming. You don't look in your future with excitement. But when you are in this creative dreaming energy, you are following your excitement, curiosity, purpose. You look at your future and risks with excitement instead of fear.
You never know what's in the horizon. It's all about being free.
Pirate graveyard. There are 100-foot waves and sea beasts that'll crush your bones. Once you enter the Grand Line, you never return.
It sounds kind of fun.
So if you want to increase your mental and physical energy, start meditating, start sleeping on time, start drinking water, start holding on to exciting thoughts instead of negative ones, and hold on to that creation energy instead of constantly be in that fear survival mode. Pillar number 5, discipline. At some point in your life, you realize without discipline, your dreams can't become real. Discipline asks you to do things that your emotional mind is afraid of. Discipline means doing the uncomfortable things again and again. But why will you do the work that creates discomfort or fear? That's why to become eligible for discipline, you need purpose. You can only do uncomfortable things for your purpose. That's why purpose is prerequisite for discipline. Purpose is that emotional reason to do the hard things. Purpose creates that why to your self-improvement. Purpose and discipline are interconnected. Without purpose, you can never become disciplined. And without discipline, your purpose can never be achieved. Discipline is a skill. It's mostly consists of repeated boring work.
Hard work is the sum of daily efforts. It can be one step at a time. Just move forward!
Discipline needs focusing on the work instead of listening to your fears. It is the masculine energy, and if you don't have that, you have to build it from scratch, from 0 to 100. Many people see discipline as punishment and try to force themselves to be disciplined through guilt and shame, but that never works long term. It only burns you out. Instead, if we look at discipline as a devotion and love for what you want. Anyone who is actually disciplined do not force themselves. They take action from the place of purpose. They endure discomfort, pain, and fear because of what's truly important to them. So if you want to be disciplined, don't force yourself. Instead, find a purpose and create that masculine energy in yourself which acts, thinks, and feel like a disciplined person.
Let's go, Monitsu.
Pillar number 6, accountability system. If you want to improve fast, you need a accountability system. A system which gets you out of your comfort zone. Something that creates that flow state and hold you accountable for your shortcomings. I know you have tried many systems to create that accountability in yourself, but it never worked. So is there a way to create that self accountability? Yes. It's pain. Pain is the best motivator. It can push you to do things that you can never imagine. But the problem in the world right now that we don't actually feel our pain. We numb ourselves scrolling on phone, being addicted to stuff, and we never really pause and feel our pain. We never pause and feel our negative feelings because our negative feelings create change.
I'll get stronger if it's the last thing I do.
So if you want to change, stop distracting yourself from your pain and feel it fully, and that will keep you accountable because you don't want repeated pain. You will actually create this self-accountability. Pillar number 7, confidence. Confidence can also be described as self-belief. Confidence builds when you act despite fear. You act despite uncertainty. Confidence is internal stability. Despite whatever happens to you, if you can become stable, that's confidence. It's that unshakable self-belief that whatever will happen, I still will be okay. No matter however many times I fail, I can still stand up. Confidence is the belief in your capacity to handle uncertainty. It's the belief that I know who I am. It's that internal stability that does not break whatever happens around you. You still remain who you are.
You can take away my house, all my tricks and toys. One thing you can't take away, I am Iron Man.
Those are the 7 pillars to lock in permanently on your goals.